This is your video for how to apply paint to your watercolor resist. The first thing that you're going to do is you're going to decide what colors you are using for this specific painting by going back to your reference photo and kind of picking out, based on what's over here, what you're going to need. Because the first thing that you need to do is wet your paint. So I start out with a big wide wash brush and dip it in water, and I just add water to each of the colors that it looks like I'm going to be using. Okay, and if you're not sure, just wet them all. And I might change that background color just because I feel like, you know, I might like a light blue for my background. So I'm just going to leave my reference photo right here in the picture, and I'm going to wet this blue down a little bit. Okay. So I would start out by creating washes. I'm going to do background first, so I'm going to wet the background down. Okay. And I'm going to work quickly. Okay, because that's kind of how watercolors work. You must work fast before things dry out on you. Okay, and once you lay all this water down, you want to make sure that you deal with it pretty quickly. Okay, so, and I'm just painting in over the whole thing just because, you know, I'll get finicky about it when I get my color involved. Okay. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to dip my brush in water. I'm going to go over here to my color, and I can use the tray that's attached to my watercolors as a place to do mixing if I need to. Okay, but all I'm going to do is lay in a light blue background. I'm going to go around my bird the best I can. And notice how this is already picking up color, it's pulling it around, it's doing what it wants, and it's kind of washing out already, okay? Watercolor pigments are very, they wash out easily. I mean, you're mixing them with water, so it just kind of has this very light color effect to it. So if you want to add more color, you can do that while it's wet. I do not recommend going back to this after it has dried and adding more at that point, because it will just, you'll see brush strokes, and you don't want to see brush strokes. Okay, so all I'm doing is putting in blue for my background. And all I did was take solid blue out of the palette, and well, it doesn't look like that had any water laid down. Just by the way it behaved, I could tell. Either that or it dried. Okay, so at this point I've got all my blue in everywhere that I want it to go. I'm going to leave that part alone. Next section, I'm going to work maybe with a smaller brush, and I might work on some of these leaves a little bit. Okay, it really doesn't matter where you go from here. You just work on a section at a time. Alright, so the edge of this is pretty bright, and it kind of fades out with a lot of paint. Fades out down here. Okay. Notice what just happened. Mine bled. Best way to fix a bleed is to grab a tissue before it dries and just blot. Okay? And that will get rid of it. Alright. Next area looks like a greenish orangey color. Maybe right in here I'm going to add the green. Okay. Again with the bleed. Okay. And the reason it's bleeding into the next section is because I just got it a little too wet there. And that's okay, we can always clean that up later. One way to clean up a watercolor mess is just to take water on the end of your brush and just kind of fade it out. Okay. Next section, I might want to add a little brown to here. Maybe a little more orange. And so all I'm doing is just kind of paint by number, getting the color established where I want it to be. Okay? And that's all you're going to do for the entire painting. Understand that I expect some color mixing, I expect some blending, I expect all of that to be happening on your painting where you see fit. Okay, I'm going to add a little brown to my bird right here. And I'm going to add a little bit of this color right in here. Okay, and you know, there's really no right way, except you do need to mix colors. Don't use them straight out of the bottle unless they're perfect for the situation. Okay, so I'm just gonna continue on painting in my colors, and I'm going right over top of the rubber cement because this is a resist, so it will resist what I apply on top of it. All right, and it will remain white. Okay, and that is how you're going to work the entire painting. Just like I'm doing here. Adding color, I'm blending it in with my water and my paint. And throughout the entire painting.